Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang, good afternoon. My name is Raphael, and today you're here to find out more about the Austrian Business Agency and the possibilities of living and working in Austria. Majority of you I have already met at our booth upstairs, but if any one of you hasn't been there yet, we're upstairs and you can talk to us and we'll give you even more information. But this here today, I'm very pleased to give you a deep dive into the possibilities of living and working in Austria. So the first question, does any one of you want to live and work in Europe? Yes? So, it's possible for you to live and work in Europe if you go to Austria. Okay? There's the possibility for you as Indonesian citizens to move to Austria to live and work there, because since this year, your government, the Indonesian government, and the Austrian government signed a political agreement. This political agreement is the Memorandum of Understanding on the mobility of Indonesian professionals and skilled workers so that they can move to Austria. And I will tell you how you can do that in practice. Okay? Now, if we can move to the next slide, please. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Raphael, and I work for the Austrian Business Agency. The Austrian Business Agency is a governmental agency. We belong to the Austrian Federal Ministry of Labor and Economy. Your Indonesian equivalent is the Indonesian Ministry of Manpower. And we have 3 departments. The first department, you can see here on the very left, is called Invest in Austria. What our colleagues in this department do is they attract foreign direct investments, foreign companies, to set up operations in Austria. But they might be interesting for you in future if you are very entrepreneurial and you want to start or you want to begin a startup in Austria. They can also support you and tell you on the conditions of creating a startup in Austria. Here on your left is Film in Austria. This department deals with attracting foreign movie and series productions to Austria. The most famous movies that my colleague brought to Austria are the Hollywood movies James Bond Spectre with Daniel Craig, as well as Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise. They were filmed in Austria. And finally, the reason why you are here today, because I know many of you are either fresh graduates or you will soon graduate. You want to know what can you do with your education, where you spent the last 3, 4, or even more years working and studying so hard. What can you do in future with your education? Now let me tell you, of course you can work here in Indonesia, but it's possible for you now as well to move to Austria to use your education there. And that is the department that I work in. It's called Work in Austria. And what Work in Austria does, the department that I work for, is we help Austrian companies find very talented individuals like you, to find employment with them. And we support you. We support you get the work permit, residence permit to move to Austria, and all of the services that we provide for you are free of cost. It's free of cost because we're from the government. And basically, before I continue, I want to let you know, if anyone approaches you with the opportunity to live and work in Austria and they want to charge you something, that is illegal. It is not allowed from Austrian side that any Indonesian talent or professional has to pay an Austrian company or an Austrian recruitment agency any kind of fee for recruiting, for interviewing, or for getting a job offer. From Austrian side, that is not allowed. If we can move to the next slide, please. Okay. Once more, and once more. Perfect. So what are the services that we provide free of cost? We provide all of our services free of cost, and these services are along your entire journey if you want to move to Austria. The first service that we're giving free of cost is what I'm doing right now. I am explaining to you the possibility of moving to Austria, that it is possible for you to move there. I am raising awareness. This is what we do. We share this information because I'm sure most of you that are here today did not know before meeting us that you can move to Austria with a job offer. So the first thing is we inform you about the possibilities and what is required. The next step is I do this both virtually and in person. So you're lucky that this week I'm here in Indonesia. I'm doing this in person. Otherwise, I would be doing it virtually. And also what we do is once you like what you hear about Austria, and I will tell you all the benefits in a moment, but once you like what you hear, we also provide you a platform where you can actually go find the jobs in Austria. So we have what is called a talent hub where you can find jobs. And once you get that job offer from an Austrian company, we have a team of lawyers and legal experts who are focused on immigration law, who will help you. They are called the Immigration and Residence Service Office. They will help you free of cost apply for the necessary work permit and residence permit in Austria. And once you have that approved and you actually move to Austria, we continue supporting you in your relocation process by providing you free resources, for example, how to find an apartment or where to register your children for kindergarten and school. So everything that we do is free of cost. If we can move to the next slide, please. So before we continue, I want to give you a short preview how it's like to live and work in Austria. No matter how much I say, you probably won't remember everything. So we prepared a short video for you just to give you a day in the life in Austria.
Remember how nervous I was about moving to Austria? Bureaucracy, looking for a job, apartment, you know? But I didn't feel lost once. For international talent like you and me, Austria offers the best career opportunities. Motivation here is really high. Mine too. No wonder, since I can enjoy a much higher standard of living here. Austria scores with an almost unrivaled quality of living and a high level of social security. This is the best thing about living in Austria. If the city is too busy, it's just a train ride to the mountains. The public transport system is crazy good here. I have to admit, it sounds a little cheesy, but Austria really is a land where you can move mountains.
So this is just giving you a preview of how it's like to live and work in Austria. So let me give you the reasons why I think you should move to Austria. So this is the European map. The area that is in red, that is the country I come from, that is Austria. If you can see on the map, Austria has a very unique position, both for companies and for individuals like you. It has a very unique position because it's right in the center of Europe. It's what we call the heart of Europe. That means for international companies, it's strategically advantageous because they can reach any of the European markets from Austria. But for each and every one of you, especially young people like you, I'm sure you want to explore the world. I'm sure you want to explore your opportunities. So Austria, I think, is very unique for you because if you were to live and work in Austria, any part of Europe, whether it's the north, the south, the west, or the east, you can reach by plane within 3 hours. So just to give you context, for me to come from Jakarta International Airport to here Bandung, I already needed 3.5 hours by taxi. Within Europe, you can reach any part of Europe from Austria within 3 hours by plane. To give you reference, what's very popular among Austrians, what I also like to do, what's popular among Austrians is to travel to another European city, maybe for a day trip or maybe over the weekend. Flights are affordable. Just to give you an example, next weekend, I will be flying when I'm back home in Vienna. I will fly in the morning to London. I'll take a plane at 7. I arrive around 8 o'clock. Then I meet a friend. Then I go for lunch. Then I do some shopping. Then I watch a live event. And then at 8 p.m. I take the flight home back to Vienna. And I like to do this every couple of weeks, maybe once a month. So you can do this whether it's in London, Paris, Munich, Berlin, Athens, Madrid. It's easy to reach within plane. And I think you can explore Europe and use Austria as your base. Now some facts about our country. Austria has a population of around 9 million. It's a small country. Our capital city is called Vienna. Vienna has a population around 2 million people. Even though we are a small country, we have a growing international community. We have around 25% in the capital have an international background, like myself. And also, I think what makes Austria very attractive is we are a stable, safe, and secure country, a stable, safe, and secure democracy. We are not part of the NATO. That means we do not engage in any military conflict. But at the same time, we are a member of the European Union. That means and we're also part of the Schengen area. So that means you can travel within Europe. You have access to the different European markets. And we have the very strong currency, the euro. What makes Austria attractive for professionals, people who want to make use of their education like you and want to maximize the career opportunities, is very attractive. Austria is very attractive for them because Austria, even within the EU, and the EU is a very wealthy region, even within the EU, we are an economic powerhouse. We belong to the top wealthiest nations within the EU. And finally, another reason why is because simply Austrians are looking for you. In Austria, our official language is German, but many people, of course, also speak English. Now, I'm sure many people can just come here on stage and just claim and say, we're the best. I'm not saying we're the best, but I'm telling you we are very, very good. And I will let you know why we are very, very good. We are ranked as #1 in terms of quality of life in the EU. The EU has excellent quality of life, but even within the European Union, we are ranked #1. In fact, maybe you've heard The Economist and Mercer studies. They actually went out to rank every city in the world, and guess which is the #1 most livable city, the best city to live in the world. It's our capital, Vienna. The capital of Austria has been ranked now for more than 10 years, I think almost 15 years, the most livable city, the best city to live in the entire world. Not just in the European Union, but in the entire world. Why is that? There are many reasons. First of all, we have excellent health infrastructure. If you live in Austria, if you live and work there, if you are registered there, it's mandatory that you have access to free public health care. That is given to you in a card that looks like this. It's a green card. It's called the e-card. With this, I can go to any public doctor, any public hospital. It's free of cost going to the doctor, going to the hospital. Of course, if you want, there's also private insurance, but our public health care is very good. This also means if you're a woman giving childbirth, you can also go for childbirth free of cost. If you are sick and you go to the doctor and he prescribes you medicine, you will get the medicine prescribed on your card, and then you can go to the pharmacy, get the medication at a very low cost, because a lot of medications are actually subsidized. Also, if you're concerned about being able to communicate in Austria, the TOEFL, I'm sure you've heard of TOEFL, has actually done a study back in 2022 about the English proficiency within Europe. Who speaks the best English? Apart from English-speaking countries like the EU, like Ireland, Austria, apart from those countries, Austria ranks as the #1 in Europe. If you use our public transportation, you don't have to be scared about getting lost, because all the stations are announced in English as well. Is to fill out documents, many of the documents are also available in English. And finally, I mentioned that by plane you can reach any part of Europe within 3 hours. In Austria, we have excellent, and I really mean it, excellent public transportation. I did not believe in it myself because I grew up in Austria. I did not believe in it myself until I met people from Asia who told me we have excellent public transportation. We have buses, we have trains, we have undergrounds. They run reliably, they run on time, and they run very frequently. In fact, I don't have a car, I don't drive because I only use public transportation in Vienna. And our public transportation is very affordable. I would say it's very cheap, but I'll give you more information on that in a while. So, why is it that The Economist and the Mercer studies ranked Austria as having the #1 quality of life in Europe? And why is it that Vienna is the most livable city in the world? Why is that? There are many different criteria. I've listed just some of them, why we have the best quality of life in the world. #1, for very basic practical reasons, we have access to free, clean, and very tasty tap water. Austrians drink their tap water. We usually do not, or let's put it like this, Austrians do not buy bottled water. They just drink tap water. That's already one way to save money. Also, we have excellent rates of recycling. I think here in ITB, green energy is a big topic. In Austria, the government provides garbage disposal services that picks up garbage from your building at least once a week. So you won't find garbage on the streets, on the floor. In fact, if you have a dog and the dog poops, you must pick up the poop, or else you will be penalized. Also, this is, I think, the most important reason for you. You are all young, you all graduated, I'm sure you want to pursue your career opportunities, but I'm sure you also want to enjoy life and travel and do things, meet friends, participate in events. Austria has excellent, perhaps even the best work-life balance in the world. That means we work hard, but we also know how to enjoy our own lives in our free time. To give you an example, in Austria, the government provides 13 public holidays per year. So there are already 13 definite days that are public holidays per year. Usually those are religious holidays or those are days like Labor Day. But 13 public holidays per year. And it's mandatory for Austrian companies to give you at least, minimum 25, that is 25 paid holidays, that is 5 weeks of holidays per year. 13 public holidays plus 5 weeks of paid holidays. And that is only the minimum. Of course, they can give you more. Some Austrian companies will give you more from the beginning. With some, you can negotiate. With others, they give you more holidays the longer you work for them. What's also very typical for an Austrian company is that if one of the 13 public holidays falls on a Thursday, for example, they will just give you the Friday free to let you have an extended weekend. And finally, Austrian work culture. What's typical about Austrian work culture is if you work like an office job or a typical 9-to-5 job, you work from Monday to Friday. Fridays, the employees already leave around lunchtime. Fridays is usually just half a day of work. Then you have an extended weekend. Then it's up to you whether you want to travel for a day trip or half a day trip or an extended weekend to another European city. Okay? Some Austrian companies will have special packages or certain benefits. It's up to them. Just to give you an example, when I was a fresh graduate from a university back home in Europe, my first job was at Austrian Airlines. That is like Garuda Indonesia, our national carrier. And at Austrian Airlines, you have your 5 weeks of paid holidays. But in addition to that, for every 5 years that you work for them, they let you have the choice. 1 month in the year you can have off, in addition to your 5 weeks of holiday. That's just to give you an example of how one Austrian company does it. So, If you live and work in Austria, you will have access to free and excellent social security. That includes free healthcare. That also includes, basically, if you have children, free education, free childcare. I know you're all studying here. In Austria, going to the university is basically free. So all public universities are basically free. So it's very affordable to study there. And if you're interested in sports, in cultural activities, because I know you want to develop your careers, you want to reach the top, but at the same time you want to enjoy, in Austria there are many sports activities you can pursue. We have the Austrian mountains, the Alps, where you can go skiing, hiking, snowboarding, climbing, but we also have cultural events. Maybe you have heard, Austria is the country of music, in particular classical music. Mozart, Strauss, Schubert, those are just some classical music composers. In Austria, we have many musicals, theaters, operas, and we also have classical ballroom dancing. Just to emphasize, because you will probably forget all of these benefits, where in Europe do people have the most days off? I'll give you the answer. It's here in Austria. The most days off per year. And in fact, I forgot to mention something. 25 minimum paid holidays plus 13 public holidays. We really want you, the Austrian companies really want you to use these 25 paid holidays. It's not like in other countries, in other work cultures where you get a certain number of days, let us say 15 paid holidays, and then you don't really use them. No, in Austria they really push you to use them because you can only take maximum 10 unused days at the end of the year to the next year. Then you have 35 paid holidays in the next year if you did not use 10 of your holidays in the previous year. But they really push you to use those holidays. Okay? And just to put it and illustrate it here, we rank in the top 5 in prosperity in the European Union. The European Union is already a very wealthy region to live and work in, but we rank as number 5 in GDP per capita in purchasing power. This one is just to emphasize where are people the happiest in terms of life satisfaction in the European Union. We rank number 1. And also, on average, Austrian employees or employees in Austria, because they can also be Indonesians, will work for a company for around 10 years. And I don't think you would work for a company for 10 years if you did not like it. And you would not live in a country for 10 years if you did not like it. So I think that speaks for itself. Finally, renewable energy, gross electricity generation, 3/4 is produced by that. Renewable energy, so it just shows you green energy is a top priority for us. Okay, when you visited my booth, some of you have asked me, okay, excellent, so many work opportunities, but how much does it cost now to live in Austria? I put it here for you. On average, we did a study in 2021. On average, an Austrian adult, an Austrian grown-up, will spend for their household around 2,160 euros per month. 2,160 euros per month. And I think if you compare it to other European capitals, other European metropolitan cities, this is very reasonable, very affordable, and very attractive for this price. Majority of the cost, according to this study, 25% approximately, went to housing and energy, so your accommodation. Then 12% to your food and drinks, 13-14% to transportation, and the rest, health, education, hobbies, activities, are in the single digits. Because life in Austria, especially compared to other European countries, it's very affordable. Especially if you compare it and you balance it with all the benefits that you get living and working in Austria. But I will go in more detail about the costs. So, I already told you transportation is very good in Austria. We have buses, we have trams, we have trains. In Vienna, I only use public transportation. For me, it costs 365 euros per year, 365 euros per year. That is on average €1 per day. In Indonesian rupiah, that is 17,000 rupiah per day, where I can use all public transportation in the capital as often as I want throughout the year. 17,000 rupiah per day. Now, majority of the Austrian companies will pay that for you, either completely or partially. It's a card like this, which allows you to use all public transportation. Our buses, our trains, our trams, they're very reliable. They come every couple of minutes. Every 3-4 minutes, you have a bus or a tram or a train that comes. So you don't have to wait very long for public transportation. In fact, oftentimes, you're much faster by public transportation as by car. So, we have that also for entire Austria, which costs 1,000 euros, where you can use all transportation in the entire country as often as you want every day, and majority of the Austrian companies will pay this for you as well. So, transportation in Austria is very affordable. If you compare it with other European cities, oftentimes, their daily or monthly ticket might be more expensive than our yearly ticket. Okay? So here, just to give you an overview, how much does it cost to rent in Austria? It costs around 6 to 10 euros per square meter to rent per month. So I think that is very fair, very affordable. It depends where you live. Vienna is over here. This is the capital. This is where I am from. But there are also many very nice places to live in Austria. This is the capital. In the east, it's more flat country. And if you want to see the beautiful mountains, the Alps, the glaciers, you go to the west. So, I've told you about all the benefits of living in Austria. I think now what's interesting for you is to find out what are the opportunities for you for your careers. If you look at the logos, do you recognize some of them? Yes? Yes. So I think majority of you will know some of these companies like Red Bull, companies like Swarovski, but all of these companies are from Austria. Austria has a thriving economy in terms of heavy machinery, heavy industry, automotive sector. But among the most famous consumer brands that you might have heard of, Red Bull, Swarovski, Porsche, the luxury car company, Glock, the firearms, those are just some of the Austrian companies. Okay? So what are the conditions to live and work in Austria if you get a job offer from one of these companies? First of all, every profession in Austria is part of a trade, almost every profession in Austria is part of a trade union that negotiates with the industry, and whatever they negotiate is written down in what is called the collective agreement. The collective agreement contains minimum salary, it contains how much is the salary increase from year to year, it contains what are the termination conditions. So, when you apply for a job in Austria, you will find on all the job ads the minimum salary stated, or it will tell you which collective agreement, so you can Google it and read how much the minimum salary is. But let me tell you, almost all Austrian companies will pay you more than the minimum. It is common in Austria to negotiate your salary. In fact, if you tell me that you just want the minimum salary, I think it will look bad on you to not try to maximize your education, and it will make you look desperate to just take whatever salary they offer. So I implore you, I encourage you, always negotiate for more. I heard in Indonesia it's not common. No, in Austria it's expected. Also, in Austria, if you're registered there, you work and live there, you are registered to have health and accident insurance, so that is covered. And also, this is mandatory. You must have that. Also, a typical full-time work week is between 38.5 hours to 40 hours per week. I mentioned you have minimum 5 weeks of paid holidays, And in Austria, you get 14 months of salary. That means you get every month your salary, and 2 months in the year, which are the holiday seasons, you get double pay. Okay? Also, in Austria, you can have access to paid sick leave. That means if you are sick, it's not allowed that they pay you less. You get your full salary even when you're sick. Also, if you've been registered in Austria, then you can also get unemployment benefits. That means if you've lost your job or you are between jobs, you can go for free training, free advice consultations, and that also means unemployment pay. That means while you are unemployed, you get paid so that you don't have to worry about your cost of living and you can just focus on finding your next job. Then in Austria, you also have state pension. So you have, once you retire, you get a state monthly pension. And also, I mentioned this to some of you, but let me repeat. In Austria, we protect our workers, our employees, in all facets of life. If a woman becomes pregnant 8 weeks before giving birth, 8 weeks after giving birth, she is put on leave. That means she doesn't work during the 16 weeks during or around her due date giving birth, but she of course gets paid. After giving birth, the woman can choose to go on paid maternity leave. That means she gets paid for taking care of the child, either 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, and it's paid and it's her choice. The father of the child can also go on paid leave in addition to the woman going on paid leave. For the man, it's 1 or 2 months that they can go on paid leave. And also, once the woman goes to take care of her child, if the company she's employed at is not allowed to put her in a lower position when she comes back to try to push her out. That is not allowed. They have to put the woman in a similar position when she returns. If she's maybe marketing director, maybe when she comes back, she's offered the role of sales director. Also, if the woman returns to the company where she became pregnant, the Austrian company is not allowed to fire her without severe penalties. That means if a woman returns to the company where she became pregnant, the Austrian company is not allowed to fire her for the next 7 years. If the Austrian company proceeds to fire her within this 7-year period, then they must pay her her salary for the next 7 years, even though she doesn't work for that Austrian company. Then it's up to the woman whether she wants to get the salary or she just continues her career at another company and continues earning there in addition. And also in Austria, you also get paid monthly child allowance. For every child that you have, the government gives you money every month. I believe this is until the age of 25. So my mom, until I was 25, got a few additional hundreds of euros every month from the state. Okay? So big question, how do you move to Austria if you're convinced about this? First of all you need is a job offer. You only need a job offer to move to Austria. You don't need the Austrian nationality, okay? You don't need anything but a job offer. You apply for an Austrian company just like you apply for an Indonesian company. If you get the job offer, then you can come to us and the Austrian business agency will support you, free of cost, of course, to apply for your work permit and residence permit. In Austria, the work permit and residence permit is combined. It's combined into a card. And this card is called the red, white, red card, which allows you to move to Austria to live and work there for the long term. Long term means 2 years. You can move to Austria for 2 years. During these 2 years, you have to work for the Austrian company that gave you the job offer. If you want to, you can of course switch to another company, but then you have to start again from day one and apply again for a new red, white, red card. Now, once you finish these 2 years, you can of course extend your stay. We are not kicking you out. We are not forcing you out. In fact, you can extend your stay and apply for what is called the red, white, red plus card. Okay, it's an upgrade. It's just like Pokemon, you know, you upgrade, you evolve, you know. So you're going from Charmander to, what's it called, Charizard, all the way up. So in the same thing, red, white, red card, red, white, red plus card. With the Red, White, Red Plus card, you can stay an additional 3 years in Austria. But the difference now is once you have the Charizard, the Red, White, Red Plus card, you can apply for any Austrian company if you want to. If you want, you can stay with your original employer, but if you don't want, you can then apply for someone else. Okay? The benefit of this system, you can bring your spouse, so your partner, as well as your children below the ages of 18. So you can bring your family with you to Austria from day one. Some other countries, you can go there, but they won't let you take your family with you. And the difference, in fact, is if you bring your spouse and children, from day one, they have the Charizard, the Red, White, Red Plus card. So that means your spouse can also work in Austria. Because many times if you have a partner and you say, honey, I'm going abroad to pursue my career, I don't know about our relationship, your partner can join you, and your partner can also continue their own career in Austria. He didn't speak any German because he had a job offer. He brought his wife as well, an IT graduate from ETB. She also doesn't speak any German, and he brought their 2 kids with him, 2 small daughters. Now he is working in Austria, and she's applying for jobs. So it's possible for both partners to continue their careers. Also, this Red, White, Red card system just requires you to have a job offer. Once you have a job offer, we will support you to apply for the Red, White, Red card. To get the Red, White, Red card, there are different categories. So let me tell you the whole reason why you can move to Austria. The reason why is because even though we are very wealthy, we have many benefits, we just have one problem. We don't have enough people. Our population is becoming too old, too fast. Not enough children are being given birth to. That's why you get your monthly allowance until the child is 25 years old. Okay? So we don't have enough people. And at the same time, I heard in Indonesia you have an issue for young people finding great jobs, the problem of unemployment, but also that's potential for you because you are all highly educated and you have a lot of qualifications. So your government, our government is working together. So every year there is a list of professions which are called shortage occupations where we don't have enough people. In Austria, for this year, there are in total 110 different kinds of professions where we don't have enough people. 110 professions. That doesn't mean 110 job ads, job vacancies. Because you can have the same profession missing in 50 different companies. That is 50 times 50 job ads for the same profession. So it's just 110 different kinds of professions where we don't have enough people. So you can get this Red, White, Red card if you have a job offer for one of these 110 professions, which is called the shortage occupations. Then you can also get the Red, White, Red card if you get a job offer from a company that gives you a job in another profession. That's Red, White, Red card for other key workers. You can get the Red, White, Red card if you are very highly qualified. And you can get the Red, White, Red card if you are an Indonesian who already went to Austria to study and graduated from an Austrian university. You can also get the Red, White, Red card. You can also get the EU Blue card. It's a bit different here. The EU Blue card is, for example, for IT professionals. But let me tell you what are the criteria to move to Austria with the Red, White, Red card. Many of you ask me, must I speak German? Is there an age limit? The answer for both is no. Because if you want to get the Red, White, Red card, you have to collect points. It's like when you have a math exam. It doesn't matter where you get your points, from which questions, as long as you hit the total number of points to pass. The same with this Red, White, Red card. So for the Red, White, Red card, you collect points to hit the total points necessary, and you can get points in 4 different categories. The first category, your qualifications. You must be qualified to do the job, obviously. And you all are because you're studying here at ITB, one of the best universities in Indonesia. So first one, qualifications. The second criteria that you need, or that you'll be checked upon, is what is your work experience? Every half a year of relevant work experience will be counted towards your points. The third, your age. The younger you are, the more points you get. And fourth, which languages do you speak? You get points for English and German. Those are the most points, and you get a few less points, but you still get points for languages like French, Spanish, and other European languages. So those are the 4 criteria. So, as long as you collect points among these 4 criteria, it doesn't matter from which one you get it. So, if you don't speak German, that's no problem as long as you collect points in the other criteria. So you don't need to speak German. Also, if you are already a bit older, maybe in your 30s or 40s, it does not disqualify you, even though the younger candidates get more points. Because if you're older, you probably have more work experience. It's a very balanced system. Work experience is another criteria. And in the same way, for those of you who are fresh graduates, you don't have a lot of work experience, no problem. The younger you are, the more points you get. So it's very balanced. So what is it that we do at the Austrian Business Agency? We support the Austrian companies find you. We inform you about the conditions to live and work in Austria. We also inform your families, your spouses and children, if you have families, what are the conditions for them to move to Austria. And we closely collaborate with the national and international official authorities. So, for example, we're in close contact with the Indonesian Embassy, with the Austrian Chamber of Commerce here in Indonesia, with Indonesian Ministry of Manpower. So we provide consultations. All the consultations, if you contact us, are free of cost. And we have an information platform, our website. Our website is very easy to remember. Workinaustria.com. Workinaustria.com. It doesn't get any more easier to remember. Workinaustria.com. If you want, after the presentation, you come to our booth or down here. You can also scan this QR code to leave your contact details behind so we can continue communicating. If you want, even though I said you don't need to speak German to move to Austria, if you want to, I recommend you learn at least some German so that you can get new friends, you can interact in social life, and we also provide free resources for you to start learning German online. Okay? So, our website is workinaustria.com. And on this website, some of you have seen this at our booth, we have what is called the Talent Hub. The Talent Hub is a digital platform. On this digital platform, you can find job ads, okay, the vacancies, for Austrian companies looking for international talent. What I recommend is, first of all, you scan this QR code that I'm holding here. You can scan it at our booth. You give us our contact details. So we can continue talking, and I can help you also look at jobs here. But in addition to that, if you register on this QR code, it's a separate QR code, I recommend you register there. You create a free account. It's all free of cost. If you create your account, it's a bit like LinkedIn. You create your profile. You can put in your work experience. You can put in your studies. You can put in your preferred jobs. If you make this profile public, so there will be a section where it says publish my profile, and you slide to the right, publish my profile. If you publish your profile, then Austrian companies can also see you and contact you. Because the difference is, yes, you can apply for jobs, just like you can apply for any jobs here on Job Street in Indonesia. But the additional benefit here is that if you publish your profile, so make my profile public, then the Austrian companies, if they like you, they can also contact you directly. So the communication goes both ways. Okay? So, first of all, you can contact us here with the contact details, and then after that, I suggest you register here on the Talent Hub. Now, just one disclaimer, one information. Please don't be scared. Many jobs here, the job ads, are written in German. You don't need to speak German. The reason why it's written in German is because you have the website translator, the browser translator, Google Translate that will help you translate the job. The reason, I guess, is because maybe some Austrian companies are a bit lazy. They don't want to put the same job 50 times in 50 different languages. English, Bahasa, German, Spanish. And it won't look good when you have to scroll and it's always the same job in different languages. So instead, the job ad is put there once in one language and oftentimes only in German because they already have it readily available, and you just translate it and then you apply for it. If you want, If you apply for jobs, once you get the job offer, please come to us. We will help you apply for the red, white, red card. And in addition to that, if you need help preparing for job interviews or how to apply for the jobs, you can always contact me directly. Then, if you want more information, we have what is called the personal guide. All of you are very unique. All of you have your own situation, your own backgrounds. Maybe one of you is married and wants to bring your spouse and children with you to Austria. Maybe another one of you has a dog and you want to bring your pet to Austria. So depending on your situation, if you go on our personal guide, you can just choose the section relevant to you. So the married person will check the subject on family, bring family to Austria, and the one with the dog will just bookmark the chapter with dogs, with pets, and then you only get that information that you need, and it's like a little guidebook how to move to Austria. And finally, if you want to find out, can I even move to Austria? What are the possible immigration methods? We also have an immigration guide. It's like a generator where you enter your parameters. Are you moving to Austria just to work or to study, with or without family, as a European Union citizen or not? And it will tell you which pathways are available for you. And finally, if you have any questions, please come to our booth in addition, if you are in the process of having the job offer and moving to Austria, you can contact our immigration and residence services, immigration@aba.gv.at. They give you legal consultations on the legal immigration possibilities, work permit, residence permit. And also, my name is Rafael Ray Bacolod. I am the director for Indonesia and the Philippines at the Austrian Business Agency. You can contact me on LinkedIn, or you can contact me here by email, or you can also contact me now after stage or in our booth. So thank you very much for your attention. Terima kasih banyak. Any questions? Yes, please. Also, for each question asked, you can get a free USB device here.
Okay, I'm Lucky. I want to ask, if we are fresh graduate and want working in Austria, but we don't have experience, it still have opportunity to get job in Austria?
Very good question, Luki. I think this is a question many of you are interested in.
Yes.
Yes, it should be possible because the Talent Hub, the digital platform, has many jobs. Right now, I think there are around 800 jobs, and for all levels, whether it's entry level, middle management, or C-level suite. So it depends on the job you're applying for. If it's an entry level job, then they will probably just need entry level requirements. So you just have to find the right job for you. Okay? Possible.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Hello, Mr. Rafael. My name is Rakil. I have two questions for you. First, about work culture in Austria. Last year, I went to Japan for internship program, and I can say that Japanese people have the very, very hard work culture, workaholic people, and very, very many rules about life. And I want to know about what is work, how about work tension and work culture and life culture in Austrian people. And second question is about taxes. How much is the percentage of average taxes it takes from salary for if someone work in Austria, especially for foreigner people? Thank you.
Thank you. Let me answer the second question first. Taxes are the same whether you are Austrian or not Austrian. It's the same tax percentage, the same employment tax. It's around 30%, 1/3 of your salary. Okay? Around 1/3. But the benefits is that from these taxes, so the pay you get in your account from the company also includes your pension contribution, your healthcare contribution, so that you have access to free healthcare and pension. Okay? To answer your second question. Is the same for Austrian or Indonesian citizen. The first question, how is work culture like? We like to deliver and work hard in Austria. I'm sure about that. That's why we are a great country to live in. We have many benefits. But at the same time, because we have excellent work-life balance, which I told you, we also love to enjoy our lives. Okay? So if you want to work a lot, please go ahead, but no one is forcing you. So with us, as I told you, on a Friday, many employees already leave around lunchtime, and no one will criticize that. That is our work culture there. Okay? So I would say it's very relaxed. Very relaxed, but we still work hard. It doesn't mean that just because we enjoy our life, you do not deliver at work. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rafael.
Okay, one last question, please.
Thank you, sir. I'm Nicholas. I'm a fresh graduate from Electrical Engineering ITB. So the first question I want to ask about what we have to do first. We contact ABA first, then we apply for a job, or we apply for a job first in Talent Hub, then we contact the ABA. And the second question about what is the disadvantages of living and working in Australia. Thank you.
I'll keep the answer short because we only have 40 seconds. So, who do you contact first? I would recommend you contact us so we can give you more information first. But all you need is a job offer from an Austrian company, and then we help you apply for a work permit, residence permit, the red, white, red card. Okay? So, I can explain this in more detail after because the presentation has to end. But you have to find the job offer by yourself. We can support you a little, but you have to go for the interview process yourself. Once you have the job offer, we help you get the red, white, red card. What are the disadvantages? There are not many. If you don't like the cold, unfortunately, we have winter in Austria. Okay, maybe we have -2, -5 degrees. And finally, the other disadvantage, but don't tell my bosses. I know it's on live stream, so Margit, don't be angry at me if you see this, but I will say this because I'm here in Indonesia. I would say Indonesia has the better food. Okay? Austrian food is very good. Okay? We have also something like tonkatsu. Okay? We have something like that, an Austrian version, a Vienna version, but if you like spicy food, full of flavor, Indonesian food is probably the better choice, but you have the option in Austria to buy in Indonesian supermarkets, halal items, and also, since around 2 or 3 months, we have the first Indonesian restaurant in Vienna. Okay? If you have any questions, please come to me after or meet me up at the booth. Thank you very much. Terima kasih banyak.